Hey there YouTube, this is Parker from Team Shockwave. I'm here with Narom St. Clair here at Pandemonium Bookstore. He has a very interesting deck profile here today, so Narom, you want to talk a little about it?
So with the last couple of sets that have been coming out, there's like a lot of like power creeping that's been going on in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like some that's very unhealthy for the game, but it's also like kind of cool how Konami is producing cards that actually for all archetypes. One of my favorite archetypes when I was a child was Spirits. Yes, Spirits. They had some of the most broken effects in Yu-Gi-Oh! I swear to God, they're just nuts. Like they have like Yamada that should draw like up to 5 cards. They have a guy that just blows away your opponent's hand, or blows away back rows, or blows away boards. Like how is this deck not like broken? Until they gave it a couple of cards that's like, hey, now it's playable. They gave it its own Searcher, they gave it its own Stratos, and they gave it its own like Caster / Pollux. Like those cards are like single-handedly made the deck so much better. So here today I have my own homebrew. There's a couple like people that's been playing Spirits, but they play their own variation. I like to think of mine as a little bit different. So today I have my Spirit deck. So moving to the cards, more importantly. So today we have some of the most powerful cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Free cards. We're talking about Aratama. This guy is ridiculous.
Can we reverse it?
You ask yourself, why Stratos is banned? Because that card just is unfair, because it just does everything you need to do. It gets you things. This guy gets you guys. When they come back to at the end of the turn that you play them, they go back in your hand. So you just play it, get a free card, end turn, it comes back in your hand. This card gives so much consistency, especially at 3. Very good. Whatever you need. It's when you see the rest of my core, you'll realize like this card gives you accessibility. Any opening hand where it contains this card is a good hand. I don't care if I have all monsters even. Like this card will play with that still. So next we have on the list Nikotama. So, if you play Yu-Gi-Oh! For the meta for the last year and a half or so, you probably ran into Evilswarm / Constellars. And one of the most annoying thing about them is the fact that they make XYZs, yes. But you know, everybody plays XYZs, right? But these 2 specific archetypes have a card that's Caster / Pollux. When you normal summon, you just acquire extra normal summons. And you ask yourself, wait, I can just Veiler it. Like, nope. Konami basically made a rule that says these things don't trigger, they just come to the field and you gain it immediately. This guy does the same thing. And these cards are really good, and you play 3 of them. This card itself is probably better than both of them because it has a secondary effect. When this card is sent to the graveyard by anything, it's mandatory to draw effect if you control a spirit and resolve it. So, Caster Pollux upgraded? I think so. Very easy to XYZ with these 2 cards. These 2 cards together, you just summon, search, XYZ. Make any 4 you want, at basically no -1. You have 2 cards, you still have 2 cards. And next, we have Yamato no Kami. If you thought that spirit monsters cannot be special summoned, you're sadly mistaken. This is the only spirit that can be special summoned. By banishing 1 spirit monster from your graveyard, you can just drop this card straight from your hand. He's 2200, 1200 defense, dark, level 6. Level 6 is very important. I'll get more into that in a bit. Also, this guy also blows up back rows when he runs over monsters. So you're sick of those face-down tankies that you're gonna see next turn? Just run over the bear. Run over Fire Fist of the Brotherhood Bear, and then you get the pop a back row. So you go boom boom. And you can summon another one, and I don't know, let's say overlay for 6s, because 6s are really good. If you have access to like Bouncer, Exabeetle, Gauntlet Launcher if you're clutching, even M7, extremely big, M7. Make more plays. Next we have the bombs in my deck. I only play 2 spirit bombs. So I basically play Dark Death Spirit, which allows you to blow up all other face-up monsters except himself. So moving back to Nikotama, when this card gives you an additional normal summon, you can normal summon any spirit. Tributing summon also falls in that category. So if your opening hand contains these 2 cards, you can go normal summon, gain your additional summon, tribute for Dark Death Spirit, blows up every monster except himself. Nikotama will trigger, allowing you to draw a card. That is insane. Just free board wipe. I have 2 cards. I still draw another card off Nikotama effect, and I still have 2 cards. The second bomb is probably a very unknown card called Feng Wang. When this card is summoned or flip face up, you get to blow up all your opponent's set spells and traps. Like, what the heck, yo? What the heck? Why no one know about this card? Huh? This card just says, I come out, blow everything up. So moving back to Nikotama again. Summon, Tribute, blow up all your opponent's back rows. Very big, very good play. Follow up into Kami. Either one of these cards can follow up into Kami. You ask yourself, where's the Spirit Monster? That's the Spirit. That play combos extremely well. You get rid of any threat possible, and you make a rank 6 Xe. And I have card cards. Why, you ask? Because they're good. You just summon them, you dirtle, you draw 2 cards. Since as you can see, the core is extremely small. That's why I want to get closer to these cards. Having a +1, it's okay in my book. So card cards, you guys all should know what card cards do. And 2 random techs. Well, this card's not really a tech. Be honest. A lot of lights, a lot of darks, accessibility, very good, very searchable through a Laval chain. Come on, guys. Blackluster Soldier wins games. I'm not even gonna get into that. And then this is a personal tech of mine, Dark Arm Dragon. Anybody that knows me knows I love this card. There's only like 6 darks, but it's very easy to manipulate it to 3. And this card just single-handedly bombs. If your opponent naturally answers your normal summons, you can just land this card, win the game, and they just go, why do you play Dark Arm? So I can win the game. You know, 3 darks, win the game, seems pretty good. Teledad, what's the thing? Dad's still a good card, guys. Moving on to spell cards, okay? Like I said earlier, the core is extremely small. That's why I gotta like narrow it down. It's not about the Hoban hype or anything, guys. It's just a good card. I generally ran Upstart in every deck I had for the last year, just because I like 37 card decks. So no Hoban jokes, guys. Please, on the comments, no Hobans. MST. You're making such big plays, you really don't want your opponent to interact with you whatsoever. It's true that MST can get really like, you know, like cloggy, but this card is still good. I'm plussing so hard through my deck, I'm forcing my opponent to even set bluffs. When I pressure them to set bluffs, MST still becomes live. And, you know, Fire Fist is still, like, up there, same as Bujins. I'm really hating on Tenki, because that's, like, all I ever lose to with this deck. And that's why I side, like, 3 overworks and stuff. Hate Tenki. Tenki should go to 1, or every copy, get together, burn them all. Dualities. See, this is a $200 card. No, I'm just kidding. Not anymore. This card just lets you like give up a normal summon and like reveal top 3, add a card. It's very strong in this deck, especially because not being able to special summon for a turn is okay. Because as I explained earlier, Nikotama allows you to normal summon. Just being able to tribute summon into Dark Death Spear or Feng Wang is really big. Under Duality. I summoned twice under Duality. That's pretty beast. Being able to blow up a bunch of stuff, you know, set a bunch of back rows, and it's very good with card. Very consistent, increases consistency. That's what we aim for here, right, guys? You know, there's times when you really have that blowout play and your opponent has, like, I don't know, Phoenix Chain of Bottomless. The 1 Lance is perfectly fine. I feel like if I bump it up anymore, it's going to get cloggy. I don't always have a monster on the field, but Forbidden Lance at the 1-up is fine. It's a very good blowout card. Protection from traps and spells. So, resolve effects. What we aim for. Foolish Burial. Nobody plays this in Spirits. So, I realized playing this deck that sometimes to go off, I need a Spirit in my grave. So like a very strong hand is probably contains like these 3 cards. I would normal summon into Aratama, and I ask myself, I can search out Kami, but I can't really play it right away. So I will play my Foolish Burial for another Nikotama. Sending this Nikotama to the grave will trigger his effect to draw a card. So I would draw my card. Free card, right? Yeah. No, it's bigger than that, guys. It's a light spirit monster in my grave. I can special summon into Kami by banishing this Nikotama, overlay into Lavalval Chain, detaching Nikotama, pitching on my third Nikotama, and initially triggering 2 more Nikotama triggers and drawing 2 cards. So basically, I just drew 3 off my Nikotamas. Very strong opening play, and if I draw into another Yamato Nakami, I can make immediately Bouncer or M7. Foolish Barrel, it was just like so live. At the very least, it becomes an Upstart Goblin. Like, draw 1. And this is probably the most important part of the deck, the back rows. So this format, everyone's averaging like, I don't know, 8 to 10 traps. This deck plays this many. This many, YouTube. This many. Yes, I'm a bad player, I know. I ran I think 14 traps, I believe? No, I lied, 13, sorry guys. So, as you can see, we have very good like 1-0s. These cards are all at 1 because people deemed them unfair. Yeah, they're right. These cards are pretty unfair. This card will probably get banned soon. Along with the other Judgment, Solemn Warning. Very good removal as the 1-up. People never see them coming. You play them well, they're always like a 2-for-1 in a lot of situations. XYZ, oh, you use 2 monsters? Get ready, XYZ, 2-for-1. Compulse, a lot of people don't like it, but I still love it. Still chainable, still possible 2-for-1. Torrential, board wipe, enough said. Summon, punish players. Warning, extremely unfair card. Almost, at the very least, always a 1-for-1.
Well, I can't trip one, but you can move one.
And guys, Reckless Greed, extremely big. Very good to bluff out back rows and like deck thinning even a little bit more.
Hoban.
Damn it, I said no Hoban jokes. This card is just so good, this format. Like, this core is so small, the quicker I get to it, the better. I'm not trying to play dead cards like Izanamis and stuff, because they don't do anything. They just kind of dirtle there. I'd rather have more back row, or at least make my opponent take back row. So, like, I don't want to lose to, like, MST hitting the right card. I'll just chain Reckless. Reckless, very good, very skillful card. Congrats to Pat Hoban, though. I agree with him there. It's very good. There's no interaction. I don't play Valor. I don't play Breakthrough. I play Phoenix Chain. Why, you ask? Because Phoenix Chain stops monster effects. It doesn't stop everything, but it stops everything I need to, and it gives me tempo. Being able to slow down my opponent is very big when I don't always have a monster in front of me, so being able to reduce damage, plus side. I play it over Valor because I don't die. Not dying is very good. As long as they come back to you, you always have a play for the most part. Double Mirror Force. Spirits, I don't know what it is, but it baits people out to attack you because you're plussing so hard, you're sitting there, and your opponent asking you, like, what do I need to do? Oh, I guess I have to try to kill him. So you just force them. Just tell them to go away and let me win the game, right? Leave me alone, let me plus. And this is one card that I would like the players to play more because it's just so many good back rows nowadays. And this deck, you really, like I said earlier, you don't want your opponent interfering with your plays. So I don't want to lose to, I don't know, the most broken trap card out right now, Solemn Warning. 1-7 tools, perfectly fine. Played as the 1-up blowout card, almost always wins the game if you play it properly. This card, supporting a bomb card, almost always win. 7 tools of bandit, very good card. Always 8 to 10 targets in your opponent's decks. Unless your opponent's playing like a back rollers deck, which I don't know why this format. So, unless they're playing like Hermetic Dragons or something. But even then, you could always side out. It's the 1-up, you might not draw it. Very solid. I like to think my deck is very solid. I played in the Cyberstein tournament yesterday. I legitimately probably would have topped 8 with, I played my friend Michael Vitas. He ended up like resolving abilities that he shouldn't have because I allowed it and I played straight into it. So he ended up winning the game because of my misplays. I had like Dad and Triple Kami and they were all gonna come out and deal like 78 damage. So I miscalculated, I left him at like 200 and he craned me for game. So enough of my sulking, moving on to the extra deck. So this deck genuinely plays only 4s and 6s, as you can see. I like the toolboxing it. Even if card D gets Valor, you could always set it up for a tribute for Feng Wong or Dark Knight Spirit. Still very solid. So the most important part of the deck is probably the rank 4s because the ones you're most likely going to see. These are the ones that kind of bait your opponent out because the 6s are actually the most powerful. But you know, you don't always get to spit them out. Like, it's very consistent, but you don't want your opponent answering those because those guys, once they're on the board, they win you the game. You might ask yourself, why don't I play certain cards like Cowboy and stuff? I've been in a lot of situations where either I kill my opponent at like 4,000 or 3,000, then I find Cowboy extremely irrelevant because it's never really a close game. Either I blow my opponent out or he somehow answers my board, which is like ridiculous because I just have so much back row. The only time I really lose is just draw all monsters, like ridiculous. Like either I draw like all no monsters. I just draw all back row, never getting to see Aratama or Karkar, and it just goes downhill from there because I can't actually deal damage. This card doesn't stop everything, but it stops a lot. Steel Swarm Roach, it stops a couple Heradic cards and stuff like that. Very nice dark target. Pressures the opponent very well. Like, it's gonna happen. It's like Crimson Blader. Like, if you play Crimson Blader, you almost never see it, but you know you need it. Very powerful card. These two cards are extremely powerful ever since they came out in the last Legacy of the Valiant set. Evil Swarm, Exciton Knight. Get it? They look alike. Exciton Knight. So this guy says if I have less cards than my opponent, I get to blow up his board like JD. Like, okay, what the hell were they thinking? This card extremely good. If I'm already losing because I'm a bad player, because I misplayed and my opponent's blowing me out, I have a second chance. Konami said I have a second chance. This card says it's always allows you never really lose, you always have a chance. My deck plus is so fast and hard, I almost never get to see this card, but those one chances when my opponent actually like pressure me and like force me to lose cards, I have a second chance to come back at the game, land this, make it, and then play Aratama and stuff like that and bounce back and spit out some 4s and 6s. And then this Silent Honor Arc. Yeah, isn't that pretty? It's ulti. Guess what? This one's a misprint. It has like a top part. There's like no ink here. See? No ink. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, and then I have my other one. So this card is detached to, if your opponent has a special summon monster in attack position, just eat it as material. It gets around everything that says it can't be destroyed or it can't die or whatever. It just says, now I'm the only card in Yu-Gi-Oh! That can do this. It's like Thousand Eyes Restrict, like, okay, whatever. And it has a Maze Stroke effect. How is this card fair? Sometimes I just make this guy because he has a Maze Stroke effect. I make him because he's better than Maze Stroke because he's 21. True, he doesn't have a book effect, but still 21. That takes three deaths to die. Like, whatever. Whatever, Konami. Whatever, I'm playing 2 of it. It's good. Very, very good card. Especially when they warn the first one and I play a second one, like, okay, you play 2 like a bet. And I'm like, yes, I play 2. Abyss Dweller, no one likes those graveyards when your opponent's plussing really hard. Mermels, slash dark roll, random dark rolls. Very solid card to make. Everyone should know what Dweller does, and they should know why it's worth what it is. Laval Vol Chain. This card is, sorry YouTube, I don't want to cuss, really broken. Really, really, really broken. If I have a Nikotama on it, I can detach the Nikotama, send in a Nikotama. I get to Pot of Greed. I repeat, I get to Pot of Greed. Just draw 2. A very cool trick that people don't realize is when I do discard Nikotama, I can use the effect to put a monster to the top of my deck. I could put BLS to the top, immediately draw it from my Nikotama effect, because Nikotama would trigger in a separate chain link. So having access to BLS, it makes me think crazy. Like, I want to play like Primal Seed and stuff like that, like ridiculous stuff. Just because Laval Chain just becomes search any monster in your deck along with Nikotama. Search any monster. Very bomby. So if I have 3 darks, get Dark Arm or land my BLS. Like, every part of this card is so good in this deck. It's like Infernity's having an orgy. Like, how is this card like still not like limited to 1 or something? Because there's definitely loops coming out with it soon, if not already out. Diamond Direwolf speaks for itself. You know, it's almost always a 2-for-1 in normal situations, except this deck. Like, I spit out so many level 4 monsters for free. I don't even care when I Diamond Direwolf and neg myself for 3. Like, whatever. Diamond Direwolf, extremely good. Sits there, like, he's only good because he has a good team. So, he's kind of a... He's like Scalabrini from, like, basketball. Like, he just has a good team. The rings don't mean anything. Fujinji Tsukuyomi. 2 light monsters. In those situations where I have double Nikotama, I can make this card set 4 or 5 back rows, pitch only 1 card to draw 2 cards. Like the ratios on my deck is a lot of very little monsters, a lot of spells and traps. This card essentially becomes like a reverse Graceful Charity for 2 turns. Like, yeah, +1 next turn. Oh, +1. Like, okay, like, and if I have a Nikotama as a cool little trick, I can just like draw 3 cards. Yes, Ancestral Recall for those Magic players. Draw 3 cards. I pitch out, like, I have a Spirit Monster. Detach 1, send Nikotama to the grave from my hand. Draw 2 for the effect. Nikotama triggers, draw another card. 3 cards. Happens a lot, actually. So this deck decks out extremely fast. When you're down to like 2 or 1 card, it happens all the time. People try to deck me out. It's silly. I'll make this card with like a 7 tools or something to protect it. Put 3 good cards back in my deck. I repeat, put 3 good cards. I swear to God, my opponent tried to deck me out. I had a face down Reckless Greed. I put Dark Arm, BLS, and like Akami back in my deck. I drew for Emerald Effect, Reckless Greed drew the other 2 cards and just played everything. Like, sometimes playing with no deck is the best possible thing because you know exactly what you'll get. Very, very, very toolboxy. And this is probably my favorite card. That this is the only deck I probably played this card in. Fairy Cheer Girl. Draw 1 card. Moving on. Oh wait, no, there's more to it. So those, like I said, sometimes you don't get the monsters you want. Sometimes you get 2 fairies, 2 Nikotamas. Sometimes between these 2 cards, I ask myself which is better. These cards are very, very, very universal because this has 2 lights. I mean, it almost never happens. I have 2 Nikotamas. It depends on what the situation is. If I have no cards, I'd rather make this card. If I have at least 1 card, I'll make this card. This card just 2 fairy monsters, detach 1, draw a card, but you get to do it again next turn. And you make it off Nikotama, you get to draw an additional card. Very solid card. I don't play Izanamis, so I don't see this card as much as I would like. But even then, I don't really want to play like fairies that don't do anything in Dirtle. They should have a positive effect on the game state when you play them. Those are all my rig fours, guys. Give you guys another look at it. Moving on. My rank 6s. M7. If you kill my BLS and my dad, I know I have access to it. It's coming back. I'll tell you straight up. I'm like, it's coming back. 2 commies, go get my bomb card, win the game. Like 27 beat stick. Light? Come on. Bouncer guy. I remember I was playing a frog deck and he was gonna top deck like a monarch and I bounced his Treeborn back to his hand. And then he got very sad that he drew a monarch. And I was at like 800. He was gonna burn me with Kai's for game, but he didn't have the tribute for it. So this card just, almost any situation the M7 will answer. Exit Beetle, very skillful card. If I have Spirit Monster, I will make this, bring back my Nikotama, send my Nikotama, send your guy, gets around anything that voice destruction, send them, draw additional card for Nikotama effect. And then I have Gauntlet Launcher. Those times where I have the 2 commies and I really want those darks back in my grave, I can make this, shoot your guys, and then just land dead and like go for game. And then Bouncer. This card sees like no play anymore. This card used to be $40, people. This card is still good. Why it's not good, guys? Because he's not free anymore. Like, he's not as easy to make. In this deck, almost always like sitting on like a bunch of commies, clearing your opponent's board, playing this card, setting 4 back rows, very safe. Bouncer, very strong, very much wild, very doge. Light. And then the last card in extra deck is the highest ranking monster, Gaia Thundercharger. Those times where your opponent finishing your monsters, you ask yourself, why can't I attack? And you go, yeah, attack, pierce for game. Overall, that's really all there is to my deck. Thank you, YouTuber, for your time. I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you guys do watch it, support Team Shockwave. Very, very good, hardworking group. I'm personally not a part of them, but my experience with them is very, very good. They're always looking for the next best thing for Yu-Gi-Oh! And they're not very biased. They're always looking for fun, more importantly. Like, they're always keeping up, they're able to satisfy everyone's needs, either meta or like people looking for like just giggles. They're on top of things and they work very hard, guys. Make sure to thank all Team Shockwave for all the hard work they guys do. Thank you very much for your time, YouTube.
Thank you, Narum, for that in-depth detail. I'm pretty sure everyone appreciate you getting the play-by-play of every card you've been playing with it. That's pretty much it. This is Parker from Team Shockwave, signing out.